This is a Brooklyn News special report.
And it is so good to be with you. It is a Friday at around 2 p.m. We are expected to come on the air at the top of the hour, on the air a few moments early. Happening here in just moments, we are expected to hear from Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump as they meet this afternoon. It is 11 a.m. This meeting occurring in Alaska. We want to take you to the feed we're getting in, which we believe to be the Russian delegation that is traveling with the president. That is a look at their plane there. We are following it as it has come in moments ago. We saw Air Force One at this same airport, we believe, the first time that this plane has been on Alaskan soil, U.S. Soil to be exact. This meeting expected to get underway here soon. Let's go to never mind. Same feeds here that we have. We are all just waiting for this to get underway. What we do know is that we believe President Donald Trump took questions inside Air Force One a little bit earlier in the day. That is a look at Air Force One there. Before this meeting gets underway, to get an idea as kind of where President Donald Trump might stand on all of this, we want to take you to that video. Again, this is a little earlier on Air Force One as the president was traveling to meet. Let's listen in.
How you doing? How are you? What will make a success of this summit today?
I can't tell you that. I don't know. It's there's nothing set in stone. I want certain things. I want to see a ceasefire. This is not to do with Europe. Europe's not telling me what to do, but they're going to be involved in the process, obviously, as will Zelensky. But I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Everyone said it can't be today, but I'm just saying I want the killing to stop. I'm in this to stop the killing. You know, we're not putting up any money. We're making money. They're buying our weapons, and we're sending them to NATO, and NATO's sending us big, beautiful checks. But that I don't care about that. I care about, it was a big factor when Biden spent $350 billion and got nothing. But what I do care about is they lost last week 7,011 people were lost, almost all soldiers. 36 people in a town which got hit by a missile, but over 7,000 soldiers. It's crazy.
Could you describe a little bit, Mr. President, because I know you've had a lot of phone calls with President Putin. What's the difference in a face-to-face, in-person meeting?
Look, he's a smart guy, been doing it for a long time, but so have I. Been doing it for a long time. And here we are with President. That was much more difficult than what I'm doing today, believe me. So we get along. There's a good respect level on both sides. And I think, something's going to come of it. I noticed he's bringing a lot of business people from Russia. And that's good. I like that because they want to do business, but they're not doing business until we get the war settled.
Are you going to talk about business?
We have the hottest country on earth. We have the hottest economy on earth. We have the hottest country. We just set a new stock market record again. We have hundreds of billions of dollars flowing in from tariffs. We're the hottest. We were a dead country, dead like doornails, a dead country. 1 year ago, we were dead as a doornail, and now we have the hottest country. And he wants a piece of that because his country is not hot economically. In fact, it's the opposite. And China's not doing well economically, but look, I want everybody to do well. The war's got to stop and the killing's got to stop.
Mr. President, what do you stop? Thank you for coming back to take questions. We saw that Russia continued its violence into Ukraine last night, launching even more drones. What did you make of that?
I think they're trying to negotiate. He's trying to set a stage. I mean, in his mind, that helps him make a better deal. It actually hurts him. But in his mind, that helps him make a better deal if they can continue the killing. Maybe it's a part of the world. Maybe it's just his fabric, his genes, his genetics. But he thinks that makes him, gives him strength in negotiating. I think it hurts him, but I'll be talking to him about it later.
It's on the table for discussions today, Mr. President. Are the territorial swaps on the table? Will you be discussing that?
They'll be discussed, but I've got to let Ukraine make that decision. And I think they'll make a proper decision. But I'm not here to negotiate for Ukraine. I'm here to get them at a table. And I think you have two sides. Look, Vladimir Putin wanted to take all of Ukraine. If I wasn't president, he would right now be taking all of Ukraine. But he's not going to do it.
Mr. President, what did you mean?
Just one thing. What about the possibility of the United States providing security guarantees to Ukraine?
Maybe. Along with Europe and other countries. Not in the form of NATO, because that's not going to, there are certain things that aren't going to happen. But yeah, along with Europe, there's a possibility of that.
Mr. President, mention the number of business people that President Putin is bringing along. Is that something that you want to discuss with President Putin at this meeting?
Yeah, if we make progress, I would discuss it, because that's one of the things that they would like. They'd like to get a piece of what I built in terms of the economy. Just so you know, we were a dead country with our economy. He wouldn't be interested. He wouldn't have been interested a year ago with the Biden economy. But he is interested in the Trump economy, because wait till you see when those factories start opening up. We have hundreds of factories all over the country, and that includes auto factories, AI factories, and every other. They're all coming in because they want to beat the tariffs. Because if they open here, they don't have to pay tariffs. If they don't open here, they have to pay, in some cases, 200%, 300%. I haven't even set some of the tariffs yet. I'll be setting tariffs next week and the week after on steel and on, I would say, chips.
Mr. President.
Chips and semiconductors we'll be setting sometime next week after.
What are you looking at? What rate?
I'm going to have a rate that is going to be lower at the beginning. Then that gives them a chance to come in and build. And very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
Mr. President, hi. You had said earlier.
Is he over there? Isn't he a general?
He's helping me out.
He's a very nice. He's one of the few nice ones, actually.
You had said earlier this week that Putin would face severe consequences if you get the sense from him.
Alrighty, that was President Donald Trump moments ago in Air Force One there, taking questions back out line to our feeds that we have in Alaska. Left side, you see Air Force One there, the president's plane that he's been traveling in. To Alaska here on the right side, a look at the tarmac that both planes are now on. The key thing to note about this here, of course, both planes on this tarmac. We've looked at the Russian president's plane a few moments earlier. Now we're looking at President Donald Trump's plane, Air Force One, which he's been traveling in. So monitoring both feeds there, of course, to make sure you guys are getting a full view of what's going on here, and kind of what we're following. This event is happening in the there in Anchorage, Alaska, which is the capital. Looking forward to see if we have some type of feed that we could go to that has a look at the Russian president's plane. Doesn't appear that we have one, so these are the two feeds that we're stuck with for the next little bit here as we wait for both presidents to exit. The press, of course, also standing by for what may happen here. Let's see if we can't again, it just appears we don't have any feed of the Russian president's plane. We were looking. There we go. There's a feed of each plane there on your screen. The Russian president, their door has since been, both doors are open. You see someone standing there on the right side of your screen. It's unclear when the two will walk out. Will they take questions? So many questions to be answered. Again, a look at both the feeds that we are getting in of both planes here They have arrived in Alaska ahead of this summit. We know that later tonight they're also expected to hold a press conference. Let's go full screen over to President Donald Trump, who is now exiting the plane. You see there on your screen, slowly but surely coming down. We are now seeing, let's go back to our two box here that we have. Both presidents, Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump, now both going off of the stairs. Let's stick with both of the feeds that we have here. We'll take you to all of them as we get them. There's a look live there at that feed of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Let's keep watching here. We'll see if maybe they come and speak to the press. That's gonna be a question. Then I at least want to answer what's gonna happen here. Taking a look again at President Donald Trump now. As he's exited the tarmac, a look at both the feeds, what we're getting. So there is President Donald Trump now on both sides of your screen. We're watching these feeds here. Again, the reason we are on the air, if you're just joining us, President Trump is meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin for a summit in Alaska. So this is a live look in Anchorage, Alaska, where they are meeting here. So as we watch there, Russian President Vladimir Putin continue to walk there. Another feed that we're getting is President Donald Trump there standing. So let's watch both of these feeds. It's appear this is the moment they are going to meet. Let's go closer to this feed here. As they push in there. Looks like we are going to see the two greet each other. Now, to note, these people, they have a relationship that is, I mean, to my knowledge, extremely interesting. The president has talked to the Russian president in his first term and second term. I believe they've talked before. They have not met in person though, over the phone, if I'm remembering correctly. You see the two now walking towards the closer to the camera. Not sure if that means anything, if they're going to possibly speak to the press. We'll see here. We know they are expected to talk to the press a little later. We're going to stick with this feed. Again, Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin greeting each other just moments ago now. Taking a live look on the tarmac at that airport in Anchorage, Alaska, where the two are right now. Now, we have seen this little platform before. It says Alaska 25, possibly for the press, to take pictures of the two together, as this is a summit they are holding. President Donald Trump earlier today speaking to the press on Air Force One.
Mr. Putin, did you underestimate Ukraine? President Putin, will you stop killing civilians?
You see the reaction from President Vladimir Putin when he is asked, will you stop killing civilians? It's unclear whether that was related to his reaction or was related to the question that was asked by that member of the press. Let's turn the audio back down here for just a second. Maybe they'll approach the press, maybe not. Looks like they might be heading towards their vehicles. Yep, that is exactly what they are doing. So that, again, the view that we were just getting in as they greet each other. Here is another camera view that we are getting in. This one, a little less audio there as they get into the car there. Let's continue watching for just a moment here. Maybe we'll see something else, and maybe we'll hear from the two later. We know they are going to be meeting. Whether that's on camera, I know the White House press pool is traveling with them, and it's going to be interesting what we'll see here in the next little bit. Whether that's on camera, kind of what we're going to see here is unclear. The press there, possibly they're running back to the van. Couldn't tell if that was the press or not. Watching as the motorcade is still at this moment possibly going to move here in just a moment, and continue going. We have just lost that feed. We've still got another one, though. That feed that we were just watching was actually from the White House. The camera there zoomed in, appearing to show someone in the back seat, possibly President Donald Trump, speaking. I can't tell by face shape. Looks like President Donald Trump, and it looks like the window. Maybe not. Maybe not. The window might be rolled down in the back. I don't believe so, but you see there President Donald Trump speaking in that vehicle, possibly, likely to Russian President Vladimir Putin. What they're talking about? A great question. The press might actually ask. We're going to be on the air for the next little bit here. What we might just have to do is stand by for the next movement of events to begin for us to be able to cover it for you. Still got that camera view, and that was President Donald Trump there speaking, because I was on the left side of the car. There go the two waving, two members of the press. As their motorcade continues, we've lost that view of the vehicle. It's gonna get it out eventually. Now here's a second view that we've got of them waving there. Go back to this feed that's live, showing the motorcade traveling outside of what we are watching here. So okay, so we've kind of lost that view there that we had for just a moment, showing the vehicle leaving. So that's gonna be, see what we get next. We also see some different types of vehicle, likely from the Russian president's motorcade there. You see some different looking vehicles that you usually don't see in the US. I expect that to be their view. Still see the Alaska 25 there on your screen from this summit that we are expected to see. President Donald Trump spoke earlier, speaking on this all, saying that he is wanting the killing of civilians to end, and really a ceasefire to take place. So that is something that we will be watching. So again, happening now, right now, is Trump and Putin meeting for this high-stakes summit as the war in Ukraine is raging on. It's unclear when our next sighting will be of the president. We are going to stick on the air here for the next little bit to see what maybe comes out of this in the next few moments. Still, the big news at this hour, though, President Vladimir Putin of Russia and President of the U.S., Donald Trump meeting there. Let's stick with the shot that we have. Take it through all of it, because there is, of course, so much that we are following. Let me get you guys going here.
So pack up and then be ready to go, but leave the shop for 1 minute.
Okay, directions coming from the press here. They're meeting in Anchorage, Alaska. That is where this high-stakes meeting is taking place. Excuse me, gotta adjust my IFB that I have in my ear so that I can hear everything that's going on. We've gotten a little louder there. Let's turn it down just a little bit. We'll continue to watch here as things develop. Let's see if we have, I know we have live updating stories that are talking about this. The planes that were flying over the Russian president and Donald Trump, that they ended up, if you remember, they looked up at the sky. Those were American warplanes. They flew overhead. It was a B-2 stealth bomber. A plane Donald Trump has really mentioned in the last few months and really praised its work. Take you back full screen to this view there in Alaska that we have. We've covered this war so much. I want to say since the beginning, but it hasn't been since the beginning. I wasn't doing news when this all had begun. We are getting our first view into where we are expected to hear from the two leaders. That is where they are heading, and we will hear from them in a few moments. That is a look there at that view. So we are watching for any different updates to come out of that. What we are going to do here, why don't we go live over to the White House? Lots of visitors there as President Donald Trump, not there right now. Of course, we just saw him there in Alaska. So, pretty high stakes meeting expected to take place here. Back out live to that camera that we have inside of the room where this summit is expected to occur, where we will hear from the two expected to join the president. Does include Steve Witkoff, Steve Witkoff and Marco Rubio. Steve Witkoff, someone who has kind of been the person that has done their best to try to find some type of ceasefire and has done the negotiating. Let's just say, not try to find the negotiation. People would argue that he hasn't done his maybe best. Sorry, that sounded kind of biased there. Was not my intention. Point was that his job is to speak with those in the Middle East in hopes to find peace. That, of course, includes Russia and Ukraine. To note, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has been shut out from talks to the alarm of his European allies. He's warned that these decisions have taken in his absence will be meaningless. So, probably a little bit of aggravation coming from the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, expressing maybe some aggravation towards the fact that he has not been mentioned in these comments. So, protesters are being seen right now in the Alaska, as this Alaska summit is ongoing. Let's listen in.
I love my country. I always think it's a great opportunity when colleagues and myself and other patriots all across the state of Alaska get to come together and to support our president and to issues that are important to us.
Do you have any thoughts about the summit today and kind of if you have any hopes or like what you want them to achieve?
Yeah, I'm really looking for good dialogue amongst both presidents. I'm looking for a conversation that ends in peace and prosperity for all nations, right? I think President Trump has been a really amazing world leader in terms of getting peace among the world, and that's what I think all Americans are looking for, regardless if you're a Republican or Democrat.
What did you feel when you first heard that the summit would be happening here in Anchorage in your city?
Well, as a lifelong Alaskan, whenever there's an opportunity for a world leader to come to your state, you're extremely grateful and excited, no matter who it is. The fact that it's President Donald J. Trump, who I cast my vote for both times, I'm extremely excited that he's here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so
welcome. Can I have your name?
Yep, Portia Erickson.
Can you spell it?
Portiaer.
Okay, Portia Erickson there giving an interview with the Associated Press. This is a protest in favor of President Donald Trump there, saying, so great that we have seen this kind of, moment on go in her state. She's so glad to support, the president. You see lots of signs, Make America Great Again, Trump 2024. As they protest there in Alaska, we'll keep monitoring that. Why don't we do this right here? We'll take a look at both the feeds that we are watching right now on the left side of your screen. A look at where this summit is expected to occur as the evening goes on. What we're going to do here, we'll leave you on these two feeds. And we'll break back in when the coverage returns. So let me get something together before I do that, though, to make sure it's clear what we're going to do here. So, Give me just a moment. There we go. Sorry, you guys, just getting something ready so it's clear kind of what we're gonna do here. There we go. Okay. Putting it up on the screen now. I'm going to return when the coverage the coverage will return when the summit begins. In the meantime, while we turn the audio up on these protesters as we await, taking a look at both of the feeds. Again, the coverage will return when the summit begins. You're watching Brooklyn News Special Report.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Mr. Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire? Mr. Putin, will you commit to not killing any more civilians?
Thank you, press. Let's go. Come on, guys. Thank you, press.
Mr. President,
Thank you, press.
President Putin, why should President Trump trust your word now?
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
We've got to go.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Everybody get out of the room.
Let's go.
Thank you, press.
Alrighty, we got our first views there just moments ago into that room where this meeting was ongoing. I'll replay it for you from the second it came on to the second it went away. This is moments ago. Turn the audio back up and listen in here. The second we got that view into the room, it instantly was chaos. The press shouting, screaming, really questions, trying to get something out of the Russian president. Let's listen in.
Thank you. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Mr. Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire? Mr. Putin, will you commit to not killing any more civilians?
Thank you, press. Let's go. Come on, guys. Thank you, press. Let's go.
Mr. President.
Thank you, press.
President Putin, why should President Trump trust your word now?
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
We've got to
Thank you,
go.
press.
Thank you,
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Everybody get out of the room. Thank you, press.
It was so chaotic. It was yelling, shouting, "Get out of the room!" That was, it's unclear who that was from, but loud shouting there, asking the press to exit the room. The press trying to get just something out of the Russian president in this meeting. It's a very high stakes meeting. This is a war that has raged on for now over 2 years, if I'm correct. It's something that the Ukrainian people and I think you could argue the Russian people want this war to be over. So a look there at that moment that we saw just moments ago inside the room where the two were meeting. We were the press again trying to get something out of these two. We have now got a full view, it looks like, of when this all was going to happen. Let's see. This could be playing the video from the beginning. So this is our live look that we had. We'll stick with it for what we're gonna do. We'll go back here. This is not live. This is moments ago. Protesters still. And if that feed that we just got from that room comes on, we will take you there first. Let me do this right here. Sorry, lots going on. Lots going on. Trying my best. Let's go live if we can. Okay, the feed what we're getting from both, from everything, is into that room. We'll stick with this. If we get something from the room where we saw the two, if they play that feed out, we will take you to it instantly. I'll tell you that. I don't want to make anything seem as if we're not trying to play something. So if we get a view into that room and it plays out, we will play it for you and take you out to it. Right now, though, we still are watching a number of still waiting for this to be played. Let's go here where we're getting another feed of protesters, of course, in favor of President Donald Trump there. And this meeting, Alaska, a state that has voted in favor of him for now multiple elections. We'll watch it. We're waiting again if they play out this feed that we got of President Donald Trump a few moments ago. Excuse me, we're literally okay. They're playing out that feed now. Let's go live there. There's no audio on this one that we are getting, but it does appear that the president did address the press. 1 second. No audio on this one either. This is moments ago. Let's see if we do get audio into it again. Let's see here if there eventually does become a moment when we finally see audio. You see the two, though, possibly answering questions. Not sure there. Let's continue to listen in. Pursuing Peace, the Alaska 2025. That's what that board there in the background is reading. Still no audio. Okay. And sometimes in these rooms, when they're trying to play out clips like this, they are doing, like in the White House, sometimes when the president has something quick that comes up in the Oval Office, there are times when it is so rushed that there is technical difficulties because they have to run and get this feed back to the to the viewers, to us. So that could have been here. What has just happened is why there was no audio, maybe. We'll try our best to see if we can get this view back. I know we were listening into it while it happened, but there was no audio. So at that second time that they tried to play it. So to explain this again to you guys, what kind of has to happen here is that causes it to be rushed is it's recorded in the moments like in the Oval Office when it's quick. It's recorded, then it's ran back into the briefing room, where inside the briefing room they run it back to the poolers and they get it. Maybe we'll get a view back into this. We're trying. It looks like they might be trying to replay it again. We'll wait for it to come back and see if we get anything new out of it. You did see reaction there from Russian President Vladimir Putin, kind of like, whoa, because the press was there yelling questions, trying to get just really, I think, one thing out of this president, out of the Russian president, out of President Donald Trump. Of course, we hear from President Donald Trump almost on a daily, if not multiple times a day. So to be able to hear from a president who has led a war, maybe that's something that they're wanting. We're getting this view again. Still no audio, it looks like. Playing it out again. This was again moments ago. They're playing out this feed now. Still no audio. We're trying our best to get it. Playing out this moment that occurred when the press began shouting questions at the Russian and U.S. president there. It was a moment to truly watch. Okay, maybe they're trying to fix this here. We'll see. We can stick with this feed as long as possible if they are trying to fix it. What we'll do here, come back to the full view of me. As soon as they get it back, we'll take you back there. Lots of technical difficulties, though, it does look like they are having with the feed that they are trying to play for us. What we are going to do, Summit has begun. Maybe we'll get a feed that has audio on it of this moment. We can go back. What I'll do actually for you guys is I'll play the second that we got this feed in. Go back just a little bit. This was moments ago. The second we got this feed in, let's listen in. Okay, just a little bit before we got it in here. We'll let it play out, though. We should get that in soon. 1 second, you guys. Patience is key here. Here is that moment that they are trying. Okay, and as soon as we switch feeds, it's on. Let's listen in.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Come on, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Why is your President Trump trust your word now?
Thank you, press. 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 Everybody get out of the room! Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Okay, that was the moment that we got that feed into our room. Okay, so they're trying to play it out, possibly trying to get where we can actually hear the audio, because it does appear that maybe there was some more to the beginning of it, because we did kind of join it in midway through this all. And you see President Donald Trump there saying something. We just do not have audio. So it's an issue that we know poolers are working to get fixed there. Back out live here in Brooklyn, a live look at myself. As we wait for this entire event to get underway, I want to see if there's anything coming in right now from the White House. I know they do post some videos sometimes when there's moments like this, especially when there's goggles on Air Force One. Sometimes I'll post the audio or the video of the event. The press conference where the area that we've been kind of looking, that's gonna happen later tonight. We will, unfortunately, I wish we were gonna be on the air, but we are not. Timing is key at events like this, so. And that's just something that will not be timed with the times that we are going to be on air for you guys. Waiting maybe for a view. I know Fox News's Brett Baer had an interview with President Donald Trump before this meeting. Let me see. I'm going to see if we have a view that we can play of it for you guys. I know they were teasing it earlier. I don't think we do. But they were teasing this moment earlier. Over on Fox News. If you notice, sometimes I'll look back and you'll be able to see something. That's all of the networks that we're watching. So, take a look at all the networks. That's all the press that's covering this event right now. Mary Bruce there, who is the chief White House correspondent over at ABC there on the right side of your screen. I'm sure there are some other notable members of the press there. Can't really see too much though. So as we wait for this to get underway, here's another view that we are getting of this event. This is where we will hear from the two. It's unclear. At this current moment, I'm kind of trying to figure out when we are going to hear from it. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to kind of figure out maybe, well, if we're going to see something else come about this. What we're going to do, go back into our kind of our standby coverage. We'll pull up both feeds. I know they're still working on one of those feeds on the left side of your screen. So actually what we'll do, we'll just pull up this feed and we'll kind of work with what we have. And just wait, and we'll go back to where we had our note kind of up. Waiting on this to get underway. So, another short little break here. We'll see what occurs, and we'll go forward from there. Do they have audio? Nope, still no audio. Something they are working to fix. Still looks like. So, we'll leave you on this feed right here for now. Showing you a live look, kind of a behind the scenes look, because I would say it's showing the behind the scenes. Does this have audio? 1 second, you guys. Let's listen in. And now it's okay. They're having issues with this entire feed. Let's go back over to yeah. Let's stick with that feed. Okay, we'll return when the news comes back. Alrighty, as we've been watching for the last little bit here, we are going to wrap up this part of our coverage. At least if something happens, we're gonna do our best to maybe try to get back on the air. It's going to be a little hard with scheduling difficulties that we do have. Another look at that live look, actually. Sorry, I know it says moment to go, but that is a live look there at where this press conference will be held a little later in the night, and where the press is going to be held for the next little bit here. For now, though, that is going to do it for me. It's been a pleasure to be with you for the last little bit. For now, signing off. I'm Jackson Mitchell. You guys have a great rest of your evening.